Jets couldn't get out of the doldrums, and really the transformative moment, or the defining moment, was when the former staff was fired and they brought in Bill Parcells and his staff, and that's when things really began to change for the positive in my career. Parcells was a tight end guy. If you were a hard worker and put your nose to the grindstone and did what he wanted you to do, you could succeed in his system. And I managed to, thankfully, be able to do that, stay healthy and thrive in my last 2 years as a Jet. And even though the Jets fans still, I think, have in many ways mixed feelings about me, I was able to sort of come down here and solidify myself as a good, durable, everyday player that you could rely on. It was going to be there, week after week, and that type of thing. So it really feels good knowing in my, it's so fresh in my memory bank how poorly it started. I didn't realize my career didn't get off to the type start I wanted to. I even felt like at times I was on insecure footing, not sure whether I was even going to be around or continue to be a starter. So to be able to come down here and really play the role that I did and have had the opportunity to, like I said, kind of thrive at times in this setting was very, very sweet for a lot of reasons.
We're talking with Kyle Brady, part of your Jacksonville Jaguars top 25, as voted on by the local media, and a guy that did put together a nice career. Matter of fact, your biggest offensive output came for this football team in your NFL career in the year 2000. But go back to 99, Kyle, and just give us some memories. One thing I remember is going to that Jets-Jaguars playoff game up in the Meadowlands in 98, Kyle, and at that time, pretty much everybody knew you were a free agent target that Jacksonville was going to go get. So then you come the next year. Take it from there, just some memories of that run in 99.
Yeah, so like you said, Joe, I felt like it was a bit of a risk leaving the Jets because we had a good thing going. We had some momentum. We'd made the AFC Championship game, and on the way to getting there, we beat the Jaguars. But everyone around the league had seen how quickly the Jaguars had ascended to a position of being one of the elite teams in the conference in such a short period of time, and they had a young team, which was another thing that was really in their favor. They had built through the draft and obviously free agency as well, and the expansion draft, things like that. But they had a very, in my estimation, and really the estimation of the league, a very promising future for years to come, although there was rumblings about them being in maybe some potential cap trouble, which down the line was in fact the case.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I got down here and I saw from day one that they had a very well-run organization from top to bottom. I wouldn't expect anything different, knowing what I now know about Coach Coughlin and Mr. Weaver and all the people that were involved, Michael Hugh, and some great young players and good leaders. The fabric of that locker room was very strong as far as the type of people they had, the leadership they had, the strength of personalities, and that type of thing. And it was a great thing to step right into. And I just kind of came in and thought, let my work ethic set the tone and let me show these guys how serious I am about being a part of what they are trying to accomplish by just coming to work every day and, doing the things I need to do and taking a leadership role where necessary as time goes by. That's something you have to earn anytime you first arrive, even though I was somewhat a veteran, fifth year and had some success in the league. I still was always a big believer that, my actions are going to do a lot more talking than just my mouth. And so I took that approach right from the start. And, 99 was, our best season, as it turns out, of the 8 I spent with the Jaguars, and a great team. Unfortunately, we had one nemesis we couldn't overcome, and that was the Titans. And, it's funny, when I saw Tom Coughlin, when I did finally make it to the Super Bowl with the Patriots, and I saw him after the game, they had beaten us, and on last second, some miraculous plays. And I said to Coach, Coach, as bad a day as this is for me, I'm happy for you. And first thing he said to me, he said, Brady, we should have done this together. Back in 99, we should have been holding this trophy over our head together. And I thought that was really classy of him to say that in that moment that he had strived so long and so hard to achieve that he would kind of go back to that moment and raise that point.
Wow. No, that's terrific. Kyle Brady here with us on XL Prime Time. Kyle, we want to talk about your thoughts on this year's version of the Jaguars in just a moment. But as we've caught up with so many of your former teammates and former Jaguars this entire offseason, it really stands out how many former Jaguars have chosen to live in Jacksonville, to raise families in Jacksonville. I mean, Kyle, you guys can live anywhere, yet a lot of you have just settled here in this community after your playing days have ended. What is it about this city that that, quite frankly, you and so many of your former teammates just didn't want to leave after your playing days were over?
Yeah, I think it's a lot of reasons, Zach. It's one thing, there's a pretty favorable climate. I'm not crazy about the summers down here, but I certainly don't complain in January when I'm out riding my bike with my kids down to the town center or something like that, going out for a lunch. But so there's that. There's the fact that there's no state income tax. And, we it's nice to be able to continue to live in a city where you can enjoy. We'll never get, one of the things we miss the most is the camaraderie, right? The camaraderie of the locker room, the competition, and we'll never be able to recapture that as far as our daily lives. But at least we can continue to experience it to some degree when you're in a city that has an NFL franchise and that the team stays engaged with us. So it's a chance for us to maybe not necessarily relive the glory days, but stay connected, with each other and with the franchise that I think all of us have good memories having played for. And and the outdoor activities. I mean, if you're an active individual, you've got golf here, you've got fishing, and like I said, going out biking and all the things you can do year round here. So just a lot of things going for it, really.
And I'm sure you made plenty of business contacts too throughout your football career that led to other things, which I think is ideal. When you look at this football team, and I've been preaching, Kyle, for a while, rediscover the tight end and put him back in the passing game. Holy smokes! What do you think this team will be able to do? And start with that Foles to the tight end combo.
Yeah, in 2017, when people were unsure about what kind of team we were going to have, and they knew we had a very solid defense. In my opinion, that year, I thought, I think we can pull out go 8-8, and maybe we can get hot late in the year, which is what you need to do in November, December, and stay healthy. We can maybe pull out a couple extra wins and squeak into the playoffs. That's kind of what we did that year, and the fact that we were able to go so deep in the playoffs is what set the tee and sort of the expectations that we were going to be an elite team in 2018. But every year is kind of its own unique animal. You have to have some things go right for you, some breaks as far as staying healthy. We didn't have that happen last year. We had a number of younger players I think we were kind of counting on to come through and do more than what they were able to do. And, that was a big time detriment. But, and this year's kind of the same thing. I mean, we got a solid defense. I think they're going to keep us there in every game. They're keep us competitive and hopefully keep offensive scoring low. But the offense definitely has to step up more this year and possess the ball for longer. It doesn't matter how good your defense is. You put them out there too long, and eventually they can get exposed as they get tired and things like that. And I think the Foles acquisition was a good choice. He's a good leader. He's had great games in this league and shown himself very capable. But I am concerned, to be quite honest, that we haven't surrounded him maybe with quite enough talent as far as skill positions. And if the O-line can stay healthy, I'm hopeful that they can protect them well. But you have to have people that can get open consistently, and we need some guys to kind of come out and show that they can be those type of guys this year, including the tight ends.
And it's interesting, Kyle, you bring that up, and that's a conversation we've had many times here on 1010XL. The thought is, and you tell me, I mean, you played tight end for over a decade in the NFL. You know better than anybody. Can a quarterback simply make the guys around him better? We all know the struggles that Blake Bortles had from time to time, but given the same group of personnel at wide receiver, at running back, at tight end, a couple of new acquisitions here and there, can better quarterback play simply make those skill position players better?
Oh, I think it certainly can. When you have an elite type quarterback, I've had an opportunity to play, maybe with the most elite quarterback of all time. That was Tom Brady up in New England. And the things he was able to accomplish, and I mean, he's a very unique guy. Obviously, we're not sure if we'll ever see something get accomplished like what he and Bill Belichick have been able to accomplish up there in New England. But, his presence in the meeting room, for example, in the offensive meeting room, and he basically he would take over the room and begin to run the room like he was a coach. And obviously he commanded the respect of everyone, including the coaches in there. So he had the leeway to do that. Obviously the championships and everything else that are in his credentials. But, his ability to communicate and tell the receivers what he needed them to do in all different situations, including adjustments and that they may be made on the fly and things of that nature. And then just his leadership on the field and his just outright ability. I mean, a quarterback, if he's got the right touch and the right timing, he can throw guys open. He can basically put it on them even when they're not open if the receiver is aggressive enough to go get the ball. And just sometimes in the NFL that a foot is a tremendous amount of separation. If you have a guy on your back hip, that's enough separation to get the ball in there. And now it's about the quarterback and the receiver being on the same page, understanding each other's every move, and then also the quarterback actually being able to deliver the ball consistently to that open spot.
I don't know if you caught it, but Tom Brady on Instagram was having fun with the Madden game as well because he got a low rating for his speed, and it basically was just a vapor, and it was classic. I love the fact that late in his career he's showing the sense of humor, which is probably just as much of that competitive spirit where he wants to shine in that one as well. It cracked me up a little bit, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah. And actually, I saw how there was a video he put out of him going out and running a 40-yard dash here recently, and he ran a 5.1, which is, for a guy in his 40s, not too bad, especially for him. Again, not been known for – that's not exactly blazing speed, but for him, that's not bad.
What was your fastest 40?
When I was coming out of college and I was really training for the 40, that's probably the last time I ran it. I was getting in the 4.6 or so range.
Wow, for a big man, wow.
Well, for a guy my size, it was pretty decent. I was the second biggest guy at the combine and ended up running the second fastest time. I think that's one of the things that sort of solidified my position as a first-round pick. They had already seen what I could do on film, and then when I went out and put up those numbers, it sort of propelled me to the place I was drafted.
I'd be curious to go back and look, and I don't know if you know this, Kyle. I mean, I would have to think you were almost as big as some of the offensive tackles that were in your draft class. I mean, were you 6'6", 280 when you came out at the draft?
Well, not when I was coming out of college. Yeah, I was about 260, low 260s at that time, which still was pretty big for a tight end. I didn't end up getting up to 280 until my latter years when I was mostly being used as a blocker. And my mindset, my logic was, well, you're going to expect me to try to dig out these big old hoss defensive ends that are 293 to 310 pounds. I'll just go ahead and add a few more horsepower because I wasn't being asked to, go down the field and catch too many seam balls anymore. So, but even at 263, I remember getting into the league, and there was some offensive guards and some centers that were around that size, not much bigger. I think the Dallas Cowboys center, Mark Stepnoski, I believe is what his name was. He might have been in the 260s, and some athletic guards that were playing for the Denver Broncos were around that size as well. And so, yeah, it's kind of fun to be a bit of a hybrid.
All right, leave us with just a quick TC impersonation because we love those.
This year, the Jaguars must be the ascending team. In November and December, you must ascend. To win your division, it is critical.
That's the best.
There's my little TC.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, man, enjoy it. Hopefully we will see you during the season. Continued success, and congrats again.
All right, fellas, appreciate it. Y'all take care.
There he goes. Kyle Brady, former Jaguar tight end, and this morning it comes out he is number 17 on the Jaguars.com all 25 Jaguars list, the 25 best players in Jaguar franchise history.
Yeah, that was cool to go down memory lane, so let's go from that memory to...
Hey, remember this? Thanks to Vida de Louis, Jacksonville's smoothest and only locally owned tequila.
On the mound is Mariano Rivera. 30 saves this season, 638 in his career. A 16-pitch, 3 up, 3 down, all-star game finale for Mariano Rivera. Respected across this game by the players, by the people who pay to fill these stadiums. What a man.
We were all into it that night, and he pitched. He was named the All-Star Game MVP, final All-Star Game, and 1, 2, 3, a perfect inning as he closes them out. And you remember this, Hack. We were all SEC Media Days, and just the love shown by the rest of the members of the American League All-Star team, for that matter, the entire All-Star game. It was cool.
Yeah, best closer in Major League Baseball history. I mean, first ballot Hall of Famer. The guy was absolutely incredible. And, yeah, when you have a guy like that playing in his final All-Star game, it's always a very, very big deal.
All right, always the memories. They should be there with you, so drink responsibly, enjoy, and remember the good times. And it's thanks to Vida de Louis. Now, listen, that's the newest tequila in Jacksonville, the smoothest too, locally owned. But the best news, and I'm so pumped up for Mark and everybody,